This video is sponsored by Squarespace. Recently, I've been thinking a lot about Star Trek The Next Generation again after I made my video analysing Patrick Stewart's excellent performance as Jean-Luc Picard. Specifically, my thoughts have been occupied by Picard's unrequited paramour, Dr. Beverly Crusher. It occurred to me that her character is woefully underrated and showed a lot of potential in both the show and the movies, which was never fully realised. So I decided to make this video to break down the traits that made Dr. Crusher such a strong character, and why Crusher-focused episodes were often so good, with the exception, of course, of...
You're not Nana. Nana's dead. Leave her alone!
Before we get to that though, this video is sponsored by Squarespace, the ultimate tool for creating your own beautiful website. I recently redesigned my website galaxyclasspictures.com using Squarespace's cutting-edge design tools like Blueprint AI, which helped me generate a brand new personalized template, which I then customized using Squarespace's easy-to-use Fluid engine. Squarespace also helps with your site's discoverability with their built-in SEO and domain name features. You can optimize your website so it shows up more often in searches and secure your ideal domain name. No extra fees and no add-ons required. Jump over to Squarespace using the link below to start building your website and use the coupon code Rowan J. Coleman to get 10% off your first purchase. I pointed out in my TNG retrospective that Beverly Crusher has a unique perspective aboard ship, as for the most part, her responsibilities fall outside the usual chain of command. Geordi seems to be able to split his time equally between the bridge and engineering, but Dr. Crusher is mostly confined to sickbay, where she spends her time interacting with a broad array of characters, both Starfleet and civilian. This gives her something of an outsider's perspective, viewing things from bottom up rather than top down as most of the other characters do. And because her knowledge base is restricted to the field of medicine, her plots are usually more character or action driven. While others can solve problems with a healthy dose of technobabble-infused exposition, Dr. Crusher doesn't possess that kind of knowledge, so if she grapples with anything outside of biology, she has to actually do something, as opposed to merely consulting a technical manual. This nicely segues into Beverly's first strong trait, intelligence. The episode Remember Me is a perfect demonstration of almost all of Crusher's best qualities. As more and more Enterprise crew members mysteriously disappear, it's up to her to figure out what's going on without any help.
Computer, give me a graphic representation of the universe. I've seen this before. Wesley's experiment.
Despite knowing nothing about warp bubbles and pocket universes, she's able to solve the mystery and save herself by asking smart questions and utilizing her deductive skills.
Where did they do it the first time? Engineering.
Remember Me also showcases Dr. Crusher's tenacity. Throughout the series, Beverly shows repeatedly that once she's made up her mind, there's very little that can dissuade her, demonstrating a strength of will and confident determination in her beliefs.
If there's nothing wrong with me, maybe there's something wrong with the universe.
Suspicions puts this trait front and center. Despite not being a scientist herself, she takes such an interest in Dr. Rhaega's shield concept that she assembles a whole team just to work on his idea. When Rhaega's prototype seems to fail and he appears to have committed suicide, Crusher follows her intuition and directly disobeys orders because she's so determined to prove herself right. However, within this tale of tenacity, Beverly Crusher also shows herself to be highly sociable with a competitive streak. There are her dinners with Picard and poker games with the other crew, but I find her theatre hobby most interesting. It's worth noting how most of the hobbies the other characters enjoy are mostly enjoyed privately, Riker's love of jazz being the only real exception. But Beverly's theatre productions require large groups of people, and she's often just as tenacious when trying to cast the people she wants. Yet Crusher is never pushy. She doesn't chase people up out of ego. Instead, her efforts are usually to uplift and encourage others by pulling them out of their comfort zone.
I am the very model of a modern major general. I've information, vegetable, animal, and mineral. No, I can't do
Yes,
this.
you can.
I cannot sing in front of people.
You were terrific.
All of this speaks to Beverly Crusher's fourth defining trait, compassion. Being a doctor makes Beverly especially sensitive to the suffering of others, and she doesn't abide in justice. Picard is just as righteous and moralistic, but he's also pragmatic. He makes the effort to negotiate and be diplomatic, even when, in his mind, the moral issue is very cut and dry. Dr. Crusher, however, doesn't do this. She gets angry and shouts back at bullies and frequently brushes up against Starfleet regulations when they prevent her from doing good. She often adopts a moral stance which is strong in its simplicity. With all of this in mind, it should be no surprise that Beverly Crusher is an excellent captain. Despite being outside the usual command structure, and despite having very little experience, when she's suddenly thrust into the captain's chair in the episode The Descent, she kills it in the role. Not only is she able to manage, encourage, and uplift a crew of nervous rookies into their peak performance, but her resourcefulness and quick thinking allow her to win a strategically brilliant victory against a far more powerful enemy. It should be no surprise that she has her own ship in All Good Things, because in this episode she acts like a born starship captain. To sum up, Dr. Beverly Crusher is a dynamic, layered, interesting, exciting, and well-rounded character. Her unique perspective outside of the chain of command makes her plots more action-driven than typical Star Trek fare. Her tenacity functions perfectly as both strength and flaw, and her compassionate, sociable heart makes her heroic and fun in equal measure. A great character often overlooked by fans and writers of the show. And if that wasn't enough to convince you, how about this? Beverly Crusher is the only character in Star Trek who got to slap Wesley in his dumb face. So, the next time you watch TNG, keep an eye on Beverly Crusher because she may surprise you. Thank you for watching. If you liked this video and want to see more, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon to stay up to date on future uploads. On my Patreon, you can see videos early and ad-free. The link is in the description. Thank you to all of my patrons and members, with an ultra thanks to Eamon Kelly, Michael Hardy, County Ark, Mike Halsey, Olivia Computer, Bano, Jaron Walker, Tom, Director Kate, Patrick Fleming, Matthew Camille, Lilac Yane, Edmark Star, Extreme Streamers, Howard Craig Kervik, and AS Caging 101. Thank you once again for watching, and until next time, have a good one.